my kids have shaped really the whole reason why I want to serve in this ministry. I got here and I fell in love with the country, and there was a very clear calling. This was a calling of come live here, leave everything you have, sell everything you have, and move, follow me. My dad worked for the State Department in the White House. Know your chickens from your turkeys.
From Apple to nonprofits, what's the thread that ties it all together?
And that's probably because we saw mismanagement of funds not going to where it belonged. Alongside that, I do believe that I want to make us wholly transparent.
AI, friend, enemy, or just a tool?
It will change the way the world operates, but I was ready from 13 years old to serve. It was just more a matter of when the Lord wanted.
What's something surprising about you that we don't know?
Ooh.
Well, there's a lot, but... Hi everyone, and welcome to the INNZider podcast. We're sitting down today with our new executive director, Stephen McCurdy, and we'll be learning more about him and his journey. We'll talk about where he grew up, we'll talk about the experiences that shaped him, his path from Apple to global nonprofits, and what drew him here to international needs. He'll also share about his vision on the future, his thoughts on AI and leadership. And we also learn a few fun facts, like his go-to coffee order. So let's get started. Welcome, Stephen.
Thank you.
So who is Stephen McCurdy and how was your upbringing? Tell us a bit more about you.
Yeah, so I grew up in a very faith-based upbringing. I had both my parents were seminary students, graduates. My dad worked for the State Department in the White House, and my mother served at the local church. So I grew up in and around ministry quite a bit. So for me, being a part of ministry was just kind of a given. As I got older, I had the experience of meeting with lots of missionaries over and over again, and I've noticed trends and needs, and the same frustrations seem to be the same ones in the 90s as they continue to be today. And so when it came my time to decide what I wanted to do in my career, I wanted to serve in ministry, but I felt I was needed in a different way. So I ended up going into more practical work. It started with architecture, leading me into Apple, randomly enough, which is really where I got my in-depth experience. From there, everything just started kind of becoming one thing after another and leading to the next opportunity. And I met my wife. She's Kiwi. I kept her there for a while. We got married, had our first little one, Addie. She's now 9. But at 3 months old, she said, we should go visit home, New Zealand. I was like, great, let's go. I got here and I fell in love with the country, and there was a very clear calling. This was a calling of come live here, leave everything you have, sell everything you have, and move, follow me. But I'm not going to tell you why. So fast forward to 2021, I was given an opportunity to serve as an executive director for the Last Mission Agency, and I had a great opportunity to really see and apply what I had learned in the professional world outside of NFPs. Scaling, merging, generating of money, following, marketing, and all of that's been applied since and evolved since then. So here we are today.
Wow, that's powerful how all the years go shaping you. So I noticed you spoke about your wife and your 2 children. Can you tell me about how they have influenced your own journey?
Yeah, I think it comes along the lines of wanting to give my kids the environment that I wanted to have growing up, or that I did have. Not so common anymore, but that's, for New Zealand, that was the safety aspect, kind of taking a step back in time where kids can still walk to school by themselves without the worry of the white van or such, really. But then from the other side of it, I wanted them to see what missions looks like and is, not just something that we used to talk about or didn't really get passed on too well. I would say a lot of my age group are very skeptical about organizations and how they use their money. And that's probably because we saw mismanagement of funds not going to where it belonged. So I wanted to give my kids the opportunity to see and really be involved in that journey of missions is very focused, it has a purpose. And similar to a Rolex, it's costly to make, it's costly to maintain. But the product, the outcome is that we have individuals being sponsored, sports growing in their faith, having an opportunity for a transformed life moving forward. And I just wanted to share that with my kids along the journey. So for me, my kids have shaped really the whole reason why I want to serve in this ministry. It's to show them by example what it can and will be.
Yeah, that's very special. What are some of your interests or hobbies outside of work? How do you unwind?
Travel. My family likes to travel. I've had the opportunity to travel the world quite a bit extensively with my father's work in the State Department and the White House. And that's kind of now extended to just being a hobby of the family. We try to travel at least once a year somewhere as a unit. So that's a pretty big hobby. And all the other sports I play don't include summer beach. They normally include ice cold weather, like ice hockey. And I haven't found one of those in about a decade here, so I'm a little out of shape on that.
Yeah, fair enough. Going back to your career, you already touched a little bit on this, but from Apple to nonprofits, what's the thread that ties it all together?
Yes. At every core enterprise, the thing that I've taken out of, especially Apple, is that the soul of our organization is its people. It's something that we had on a little credo, a little Bible-sized, little pocket-sized Bible packet that we would carry around with us at all times. And that was one of the main things that popped out at me was the soul of our business is our people. If we don't invest in ourselves and invest in our soul, then how are we meant to lead? So to me, the defining thread is actually how the journey for the customer, the journey for the donor, the journey for the sponsor, the investor looks like. And it's just as much as pouring into the child that we are, or the project we're pouring into, as much as it is those here in the office supporting those outcomes. Similar to that Rolex mentality, you need a good team to make a good product, to make a good outcome. Otherwise, I'm just subpar. So Apple set a standard for me. Yeah, it was quite an amazing experience, and it was really all about building relational conversations, relational partnerships.
What were you doing in Apple?
So I started out in the retail sector, which was really dealing with broken phones, dealing with mitigating software issues. So it was IT. It was really IT at a retail environment. But I was given the opportunity to then expand that and go into curriculum development and training and onboarding. So I would train everything from individuals to corporate 500 leaders on how to utilize and integrate technology into their day-to-day business to then become more lean, faster, optimized, and cost value was there as well. That ended up leading me into working for Apple even outside of my employment for Apple. It was one of the very first jobs I had when I came here was integrating Apple into education. There's a huge disparity between technology integration and our day-to-day lives when it comes to education as a facilitator of that, so the teacher, the executive, the staff. I believe that there are only, and this applies to everything and it can be taken, extracted, there's only 3 real situations that ever occur. It's either user error, hardware, or software. That can be the project's quality and its outcome. That could be the hardware. The software could be the people running it. Are they doing it correctly? They're not freezing, I hope. And then there's people, which is normally around just educating them on the opportunities available, how to improve, personally develop. Do this already for the children that we're trying to sponsor, but we also need to do it for ourselves, for the ones that are supporting them. So that's where technology merges with human-centric opportunity and optimization.
That's very interesting. So from Apple, what led you to transition to the nonprofit sector?
Timing and calling. When we moved here, it was a step out of Apple. There was no Apple in New Zealand. There still isn't, technically. We sell the products, but we don't have any of the stores or the facilities to do it at the scale of 5 million people in the country. It's just not profitable for them. So I had to take a step out of that role, which led into that first job I just spoke to. So that's the closest thing to Apple I had. But I mentioned earlier that I felt very much called to come to New Zealand, and it was really much a pilgrimage almost, an answering would I answer the call was more of his question than anything. We did, and we moved here, and then everything restarted. So ministry was actually one of those things where he kind of put me on a 5-minute timeout when I got here. I was, okay, Lord, you called me. I'm coming in. I'm coming strong. I know what I need to do, or at least in my youth as much. That was what my mindset had. But no doors open for several years. And looking back, I can't thank him enough for the fact that that was an opportunity for me to get to know not only the culture, but to understand the businesses, the people that I was engaging with. So yeah, it was very much a timing thing. And so I think that moment that I said, okay, Lord, I've been here for about 5 years, 6 years now. What's your actual intention? And that's when everything started kind of coming together. Doors started to seem to close that were otherwise very much profitable and open, and no reason for it to be closing. There was no rhyme or reason. And then all of a sudden opportunities to join ministries at a different level than I thought I would have come into, or a different aspect. And so I think it was actually the intersection of knowing that what I do in my day-to-day is as much my calling to serve in ministry as it is to be involved in ministry directly, and to be detached from the people I'm trying to reach via being secluded in a, let's say, holy Christian location, also could detract from my ability to reach them. So it was a balance of understanding in the world, not of the world mentality. So ministry was really kind of that culmination at that point. Yeah, so I think it was timing, God's timing less than mine. Yeah. But I was ready from 13 years old to serve. It was just more a matter of when the Lord wanted, less than how.
Yeah, well, that's really special. And what drew you here to International Needs?
Yes, so I have always found ministries that engage in holistic development of communities as the prime future proof of ministry and missions. I also find that it's an area of opportunity for us to develop as well. We've done quite similarly the same thing for many generations. But at the end of the day, there was always this core pull at my heart that the people that do it best are the people that are local. There is value in sending long-term solutions, ministries or businesses or whatnot. But if you can empower the locals to be I wouldn't even say sufficient, sustainable, and from sustainability to thriving, then you're creating a multiplier, a catalyst. And that's what we do here, right? The donations that come in, they're catalysts for changing lives for the future. So the model and how we're approaching it by keeping God center and foremost at what otherwise could be very much just a product. Help a child, full stop, but you're actually investing in that child's development alongside Christian mentors and developers. So you're actually spiritually and physically solving their needs. Yeah. That's what drove me into,
Yeah, I think you described it really well, actually. As the new executive director, what is your vision for the organization in the next coming years?
I would like to see us scale, if not double, what we're currently doing over the next 5 years. I'd like to see us doubling the amount of kids we sponsor. And what that outcome is more Christians in this world to spread the gospel. I want to double our church partnerships, and I want to double our education and our water initiatives and our projects in general. So kids, resources, I just want to double that over the next 5 years. That's the vision. The how is going to be alongside our partnerships with our Fano locally. It's going to be our team, those who are currently supporting us and investing in us to build this around communities. So with them, this can be possible. Without them, it's a little bit bigger of a hill. So I look forward to partnering alongside of all our constituents, all those who are coming alongside us, and really making it a investment opportunity for the future.
Yeah, sounds encouraging. Do you already have some immediate goals you've set for yourself and for the organization? Yes,
my first ones are going to be getting to know those who have supported us so far, getting a lay of the land and understanding, that is it. I need to get out and meet and greet. That is my first and foremost focus. Alongside that, I do believe that I want to make us wholly transparent to how we are utilizing our funds, so that it is not a question of where it is, how it's being used, but it's more a matter of you having a resource to find that. So I do intend to digitize this a bit with the balance of understanding there are some of those maybe listening to this that won't understand that that's not the easiest thing to do. And I truly do hear that, and I understand that, so we'll maintain a balance. But I do think that to reach a generation of future investors, we need to also have platforms that provide that opportunity for them to get engaged.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's all about listening to our current and future
Exactly.
donors. Yeah.
Exactly.
We know you're really interested in the world of AI and tech. How do you see these tools helping the nonprofit sector and specifically INNZ?
Yeah, so first and foremost, if AI is looked at, well, I guess I need to be very clear. For a lot of people, it's still this voodoo thing out there. It's taking away the personalization. It's just not allowing for opportunities for the human to develop as much. I hear that. I get that. There is the other side to this, which is also the ability for us to increase our capacity and our workloads because we can augment our work with essentially a personal AI secretary or something of research. I mean, 20 years ago, we would have said Google was cheating, right? Before that, it would have been go to your encyclopedia at your local library if you don't own the entire collection, find it, reference it, and all this. So AI is just a new version of Google. We are in a new industrial revolution. It's going to be an AI revolution. But with that being said, it's how we can utilize the technology to engage our audience better, to understand what they need. For a lot of NFPs, not just ours, we are a little bit more lean on staff. So being able to increase the productivity of our time means that there's more projects available. It means that we don't need as much overhead either. So that's how I can see this being utilized for us here now. It's being able to maybe augment and support our decision making, increase our optimization of our workload, and see better insights that it's really hard to without very expensive and large teams to otherwise determine. Without the detail, it really provides us a leap forward in our connections. If we keep the human at the center of it. So if you really want to look at this is just a human-centric AI. It's designed to help us, not us to do it for us, or it to do it for us, I should say. So it is really cool technology. It will change the way the world operates. That's not something we can really push back on. It's a cat's out of the bag or whatever.
We either adapt or,
you get left behind if you don't keep on it. And that's the 3 stages of technology. You're on the wave, behind the wave, or in front of the wave. Most of those who stay and read an article once a week will be on the wave. Those who haven't looked at a phone or an article in a year or two, behind the wave. And it's really hard to get back on it. So I prefer to try to be ahead of the wave. So I've been part of the testing of that technology so that I know what's coming. So that's how it can be integrated, is just augmenting our workload to help us be more productive in ministry.
Yeah, very interesting. So before we go to the final wrap of questions, leadership can look so different depending on the context, but values often shape the way we lead. What are some of the values you have anchored, that have anchored you in your leadership journey?
For me, it always comes around people first, internal and external. That always has to be the core of my work ethic. Depending on which organization one walks into, there are other parts that do shift, but normally they all revolve first and foremost always around that person, right? Secondly, it revolves around understanding the context and the industry we're in and what people value. Being people-centric is really my focus, first and foremost. Secondly, I would say that it is being innovative and entrepreneurial in mindset. We don't think about it often, but when we work into a project, we find a partner overseas. It is a bit like scoping out a new business in another part of the world. We have to understand the lay of the land, the partners we're dealing with. Coming back to the transparency and integrity of what we do, it needs to be vetted, it needs to be looked at, and we do this before you even get a chance to have an offer to give to it. This is how we work, so it's always about integrity. So people-centric, integrity, and innovation would be the 3 main pillars that I really focus in on.
Awesome. To wrap up, let's do a quick round of questions, short answers.
Sure.
1 book every leader should read.
I will go with Purpose-Driven Life. That's a classic, but it's a really good one. There's a lot of good self-help books, but that actually gives you vision around what our purpose as Christians are already, which should be very clearly defined to us. And then moving on from that, then how we can apply that into what we are called to do in our day-to-day. So,
cool. Yeah. I'll add it to my list. Best advice you've ever received?
This is a little bit southern, so I'll translate. Know your chickens from your turkeys. Was one of my favorite ones. It's You need to understand the people that are just playing chicken with you. They don't really intend to stick around. They're just going to move out of the way the last second when you're coming their way. And you need to know the ones that are a little bit cheeky. You need to know how to deal with them. So knowing the difference between the chicken and the turkey, it's good. So know your chicken, against your turkey. Yeah.
AI, friend, enemy, or just a tool?
Tool.
Tool. Coffee order?
Maca.
Oh, maca.
All the way.
Sweet.
Yes. As sweet as it can get, too. Yes.
What's something surprising about you that we don't know?
Ooh.
Well, there's a lot, but...
Yeah, let me think about this one. I am a musician as well, so I like to write music and songs. And
what kind of music?
It depends on. I like a lot of genres, but I do infuse a few. So I kind of like jazz meets rock and roll and a little bit of more modern style music. You mix the three together, and it makes a really cool, unique sound.
Nice. Do you play an instrument or do you sing?
Guitar and sing.
Awesome. And lastly, one word that describes INNZ's next chapter with you. One word.
Growth.
Love it. Cool. Stephen, thank you so much for sharing your journey with us and all your thoughts. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us today. If you haven't watched episode 1, go check it out and stay tuned for our next episode. Please subscribe and follow us on social media. You'll see it in the link below. This was the INNZider podcast. See you next time. Bye-bye.